The two rods in the setup are what we call the electrodes. Here we have this red one being the positively charged one, the blue one being the negatively charged one. We call them electrodes. Now for their real names, we have the cathode and then we have the anode. These are rods through which current enter the molten or aqueous ionic compounds. So the electrons will leave through one, and then the electrons will enter through another. Okay. Inert electrodes, example gold, platinum, carbon, do not take part in the reaction, but reactive electrodes do take part. Okay. Inert electrodes, just as inert gases, do not react, but reactive electrodes do take part. Now we mentioned that there are two of them, cathode and then the anode. Now we know that cations are positively charged ions. Okay. Now in this case, they are attracted to one electrode, and that electrode is what we call the cathode. Now we know that in the law of magnetism, opposite poles attract, same poles repel. The same applies to this in this electricity or electrolysis. Now the cations will be attracted to the negatively charged electrode. Therefore, we call this cation electrode the cathode. The place where the cations move to is what we call the cathode, and it is negatively charged. So cathode could be thought of as a cation electrode. It is negatively charged and therefore attracts positively charged ions called the cations. Over there, the main reason why the cations are migrating to that place is because they gain electrons there. So they gain electrons there and therefore become neutrally charged atoms. Now the anode is where the anions go. Anions are negatively charged ions. Now when they move to the anode, we would need to know that the anode is also positively charged. It is positively charged, that is why it is attracting the negative electrons called the anions. Over there, the anions will lose the electrons that they gained and therefore become neutrally charged. So here, the cations will come here and then gain electrons. So let's say sodium plus comes here. It will gain electrons and therefore will become sodium atom, neutral atom. Chlorine minus will come here. Once it comes here, it loses the electron and then we get the chlorine atom. Okay. Now this electron that is lost will move through the circuit and then come here so that the sodium can gain that electron. The next one is the electrolyte. The electrolyte is an aqueous ionic compound or molten ionic salt which conducts electricity due to the presence of mobile ions. So the electrolyte is normally an aqueous solution or a molten salt. Okay, so they are in the liquid state. Molten contains no water. Aqueous means there's water present. Okay, so the electrolyte is just a liquid that can conduct electricity.